So in the past, we have talked about APIs and we made a video to explain what APIs are. And then we have made this video where we're talking about how to use Buildship to secure your API keys and just do a lot of advanced stuff with Buildship. So Buildship is a very powerful tool for using APIs, and we're going to be doing a lot of videos here on challenges about this software. And in this video, we're going to be talking how to build a weather app, but this time using Buildship, which means I will show you how you can actually integrate API calls from RapidAPI or wherever inside Buildship. So check any API, how you can integrate that API right inside Buildship. So without further ado, let's jump right into the tutorial. So the first thing you should do is to build a Buildship flow. So go to Buildship and add a new flow and start from scratch. So let's call it a weather and click on create. So right now, the first thing you do is to have a trigger, which is going to be REST API call. And we are only trying to get the weather. So we stick to the get method. We are going to take a look at other methods later. And if you ever want to learn more about AI and APIs, make sure to check out this course inside our community, which you can actually join for completely free right now using the link below. So here we have set the method to get, and now it has been connected. So go back to the build. Note that you have your trigger. We need the input. So the input is going to be the city. All right. So we need the city. So we need this API flow we are building here to know the city. All right, so now we are at the heart of this tutorial, which is a node. The node that's going to be an API call, because to get the weather, it's not going to be the work of Buildship. We are going to use another API, and we are integrating that right inside of Buildship. So this API is called OpenWeather, which is the same one we've used for the video I have linked down in the description down below. So we are going to be using the current weather by city. So we input the city, we get the weather in that particular city. As you can see here, it's a get. So remember that. First of all, we want to copy this endpoint, but please stop at the question mark. All right, don't copy what is beyond that. So, and then click here on the URL and paste that. That is your endpoint or your URL. And the method is get, because this API, so let's give it a name. It's OpenWeather. That API is a get method. All right. So for authorization, when you go to Buildship, they are not providing authorization. So we keep it none. All right, we don't need this. But you might be asking, hey, like if this API doesn't require any authorization, which means that anyone can use it. So why should we actually subscribe for it, and why should we pay for it? No, like this is not public, it's private. And here's what you can do. So you have to provide two headers, which are right here. So you have to provide them. So, and the way you provide them inside of Buildship is different. So go to Buildship, and as you can see, this is your node. You can provide all the information except the headers. So the content type is one type of headers, but you have to provide other headers, or your RapidAPI key and RapidAPI host. So here's the host, here's the key. These are the two the two headers you need to provide to almost every APIs here inside of RapidAPI. So if you're using Google APIs, that would be different. All right. So let's actually go ahead and add them. And since we have no fields to add them there, we go and we have to add in the code. Don't worry, it's not a complicated stuff. So we are going to do it together. So click here, add a comma, because we are going to add another one. So go to this one. So copy the host. All right, so let's copy all of it. So all right, like that. Copy it, go to Buildship and paste it right there. Of course, it's wrong now. So you have to double quotes here and double quotes on the other side. So now you have, as I told you, double quotes, just like the content type. And for this one, it has to be a string. So remove that and add double quotes and a comma, because you have another information or header to add just below it. So we have added the first one. Let's actually go for the first. I will not copy those quotes, so just copy that and go to Buildship and paste it. So you can actually add that on your yourself. So here, like the double quotes there and here. So here we have also double quotes. All right, so go to the end, and we don't add a comma because there is nothing below it. So add a comma only when you want to add something below it. All right, so you can just add two spaces there. All right, so now add one more space, then click on save. So now you should have no problem. Now you have added the headers. Right, now let's actually continue. So we have stopped at the authorization. We've added our own authorization keys using the headers. Now when it comes to the query parameters, like how do you know them? So here are the parameters. We need the city and the language. All right, this one's going to be, this is like crucial. You have to add. This is optional. You can just keep it. So it's English by default. All right. So we have to, how do you add them there? So here's what you do. Click on parameters, and now they will probably give you curly braces. So if you only have one parameter, which is, you have to know the type. So this one is a string. They have written that to you. So we add double quotes and we say city. Then you have to provide the value. So what is the value? We cannot give an empty parameter. You have to have a value. So where do you think the city will come from? So here it is, like the input will be the parameter. So this API, we give it the parameter from the user. User will enter the city, goes to this API, and we are going to retrieve the data or the weather in that city. So click back there. And now how to take this, put it there. So try to type in city, and you will see this one. When you see X, it's a variable. All right, but keep in mind, like you have to see it here. Where is that variable in your flow? Because sometimes you can have a complicated flow, and you have to know where is that. So it's inside the inputs. So right, inputs, then city. It is exactly the one we are looking for. So click on it, and that is it. So don't add it in double quotes like this, because the Buildship knows this already a string. No need to add these. So if you add them, you have an error. So, and now that's the first one. And if you want to add another one, that's simple. You add a comma, and then you type in lang, as you can see here, lang. So it's a string as well. But this time is going to be different because it's not going to be a variable. It won't come like the city from the inputs. So we will decide which language we want by default. So we will make it a static, like just like how we do in the FlutterFlow. Some values are dynamic like this one, some are static. So which means that this API, we will change the city, but the language of the output will be always the same. That's why I have added English. I can make it French, Arabic, anything. So that is it for the parameters. And for the body, since you are using the get method, you don't need the body. Again, as I told you, we will learn all about APIs in the classroom, in this course, as I told you. So make sure to check it out after you have watched this video. So now for the content type, as usual, it's like a JSON. And when it comes to this one, so always make, not always, but sometimes I like to have true, because I want nothing below it to be executed if this one is not. So await means wait. So we wait for this one to be executed, then we are going to move on to the other part. So speaking of the other part, if you want to actually return, like, so if you don't have this node, then this API will be executed, but nothing will be returned. So to make sure that we have some return, we just click on the last node output, and it is this one. And if you want to go custom, you can click on the editor, and you can specify that node by name. I see open weather, and that's it. Like, you just specify it if you want to go with custom, or just use last node output. So this is the Buildship flow, and let's actually click on ship, so we can actually deploy it to the web, and then we are going to test it together. So I would love always to test your flows inside of Buildship before you go and check it into FlutterFlow. So click on test, and then enter some city like all right, New York, and click on test flow and see what's going to happen. So it will actually return a status, as I told you. So because here's the thing, so click on, so the output has status and data. Status is this one, is whether 200 or 300, like, so because status, like, numbers mean something. If it's 200, then it's working. If it is other than 200, it's another error, so try to fix it. All right, so let's actually enter Miami, so to see if it can actually return other cities. As you can see, like different weather. So here it is working, like the API, this one is being executed, and this one is working when it comes to returning the value. So our working build inside of Buildship is now done. So let's actually go ahead and move on to FlutterFlow, connect this API to FlutterFlow, and then we can actually get to work. So here we are inside of FlutterFlow, and we are going to actually go ahead and an API call. So some of you might be asking, hey, Like, why don't you add the weather API right here? So as I told you, we have already did this in the API video. We've actually done that. But the problem is that when it comes to APIs, I strongly recommend you use Buildship. Why? Because you can keep your API secured right here. Because if I can just, for example, open this and check data like headers and stuff like that and put them right here in the headers, so they are inside of my app, inside the code. If you can just download my app and get the code, you will also take the headers with you, which means you can use my API as long as you want, and I will be the one paying for it, which is less secured. So you can have APIs that are so expensive and you can add your headers here, but someone will take the codes or API key and use the API, and you will be actually paying for all of that. So when you put everything inside of Buildship, your headers are not in your app. So even if someone takes the app and extract the code, he won't find those headers because they are secured right inside of Buildship. So I hope that makes sense. I have already talked about that. So let's talk about, let's actually add the name here. And now for the URL, it's not this one. All right. So now we are connecting RapidAPI to Buildship and Buildship to FlutterFlow. So we have built this API. So this is our own API that takes the city, gets the weather, and we can do a whole lot more. So we actually need to go to connect and copy the link and then add it here. All right. Here's the link. And for the headers, we want to go with content type application JSON. And you may be asking me, like, why don't we have authorization here or headers like we did before? So our API is not that secure because you are not just trying to learn. We are going to go in details to understand exactly how to make your API or your flow more secured, which also will require authorization and headers and stuff like that. But for now, giving it just the link and how you want the format, which is in JSON, of course, is enough. It will actually work. But this API from Buildship requires you to give it a parameter, which is what? City. So an input. All right. So here, let me just explain something. You might be confusing it. So the parameters, these are for the OpenWeather API. All right. So this is the OpenWeather API, and the OpenWeather API requires you to have two parameters. And what have we done is we have made one variable depending on the input, and one is static. All right. But what we are going to do, what we are doing now is to connect this whole API to FlutterFlow. And this API only requires one parameter. All right. So this API requires what? Only one parameter or one input. So whenever we want to add a parameter, of course, we make it a variable first. So this can be changed by the user. Once you are done with creating a variable, you add that same variable as a parameter. It's a copy and paste. Don't complicate things. Like it's city. That's it. So click on save. Now we have to test before we include that into our app. So here we say include and we'll type in a city like Miami. All right. So we click on test and let's see what's going to happen here. So we have 200, which is working fine and he is success. So we can use my own city. All right. And click there and things have changed. And it's actually clear today. So now it is working. Like this entire flow with OpenWeather API inside of it, all of it is working right now. Fine. But the thing is that we have to know, we only actually care about the main and description. We don't want to hold this whole thing. So whenever you test API call FlutterFlow will automatically give you a few headers. You can choose the ones you like and move on. So here we have main and description. So we can click here, add JSON, and again, add JSON path. So we have actually selected the data we want here. So let's give them name. All right. And here we have description. All right. So now this one important thing is that whenever you are dealing with APIs, make sure to click on save, because if you don't save, then you will lose all that progress. So right now, let's go ahead and try to build the app. All right. So here we are, we have a simple UI where the user enters the city name and here we get him the weather. All right, so let's click on open. And when you click, like whenever you tap that button, of course, you do an API call and you select the API, and that API requires a variable. Don't forget that, which is the city. And we're going to bring that from the widget state. Click there and you can keep this name. So whenever you add an API call, it will give you a conditional action because APIs can succeed or fail. Or maybe you don't know how to build this yourself. It's okay. So you say API, and if you want conditional visibility, if you conditional action, if you want that, you click here and we say. So you can build that on your own. You don't let FlutterFlow build it for you, so you can just understand where it is coming from. So we click here on. So since now the API is an action, all right. Click here. We click succeed. All right. So you've built it yourself. So if it succeeded, we are going to say info dialog. The title will be the main. So the API returns a lot of data. We are going to take the main, put it here. We're going to take the description and put it here. That's it. So we have also already picked the JSON path before. So we click on the action output. So the API call, that entire JSON we've seen before is right here, like just the return value of this action or output of that action. So click there and click on JSON body. We want JSON body, not the code or whatever. So we click here and we say predefined path because we have already defined them. So the main goes here. So click here, you see here main. Copy that, paste it here, and should change the main to our description. So click on confirm. That's it. Like if it succeeded, you show them the weather. So let's actually go ahead and put this one. So here we are in the test mode. Let's actually type in some city and actually see. So let's click on get weather. So it will actually show us that. So clouds and few clouds. So but let's try Paris. So let's click on get the weather. So it's cloud, overcast, clouds. But the moment you actually type in something random, you will see this problem. So I don't want to ignore this. So there is some null value somewhere, so that should not be there. So before we actually, so here's the plan I have because I tried to fix it before and it didn't work for me. So all right, let me actually type in that randomized thing there and test the API. See the code we are going to get. So we've got 200, all right, which was succeeding. That's the problem. So 200 was like it's a success, right? But the problem is that they told you that the city not found. So how do you deal with this? So first of all, make sure at least just to save the message in case something went wrong. So all right, so we have we go to data message and we say message. All right, so now we have it. Again, just click save here. Now at least now we know this path, we know it. But the real problem is that both of them had like the errors, like we should see some error here. We should see error or not working, but we have seen success even with a not existing city, which means that this has went to the API and the API didn't find it, and it told you that so the API succeeded at working, but it told you that the city doesn't work. It's like someone asks someone something and that guy that doesn't crash. He tells you, hey, I don't know. It's like this API, but how do we separate them? Like how we make this app separate them, like here. So we have one branch if the city existed and this branch if the city doesn't exist. So that's exactly what we have to do. So, but there's something I want to actually show you, which is very interesting. So I want you to know, so I will click on test with a randomized city. Look at what happens here. See here, those become null. Like null, it's not the word null. Like null without these quotes means nothing. But if we add those quotes before and after null, that means the word null. There is text called null. There's a difference. So now we have no city. So the first are null and this is real. All right. But we say here Miami, for example. All right. Since I started working with open weather, I always make mistakes when typing Miami for the first time. So now look at what this happened. We have a split. Those that were null before, now they are filled, and the one that were filled before, now it is null. We can use this. Here's how I can do it. So after the API has been executed, I won't actually count on this because that's for dummies. We want to actually make it very real, all right? And the section of testing API in FlutterFlow can help us a lot. Also, the one when we test things inside of Buildship is really, really helpful. So here is what I'm gonna do. I will actually say that if, so I will just say if if the, let's say the message, the error message. So we say here, if the message here, say, right, JSON body, predefined paths, if the message or error message, let's say this message was set. So what this means, like, sorry, right, not set. So if the message was not set, mean that there is no error message. And if there is no error message, what do? We show them, hey, success and everything worked fine. But if, like here, like the message is not set, we like let me change one thing to make it very clear for you. So go here and just change this one to error message so you can actually understand this very well, all right? Because that's the only data we have to actually use, all right? So click here, and now, yes, now if the error message is set, let's make it very simple for you. If the error message is set, which means that we have some error, like the API returns some error. So what do? We actually tell the people, we tell the app error. We say here, we show that particular message. Like, all right, so if the error message is set, which means we have some error, we actually show it to the user, all right? But if we have no error, for example, we show success. Like if we have no error, like if it is not set, we have no error, then we show them the description or the main, which is success, and then that's what we do. So that's a good fix, to be honest with you, because I didn't know it before. I only knew it right now, and I wish I knew it before because it took me a lot of time to figure it out. But luckily we are here learning together, so I learn, you learn, that's good. So now we enter nothing, and it tells you nothing to geocode. But when you type in this one, it tells you city not found. All right, you don't get that crash. I will say Kaza, all right, and it tells you clouds. All right, so now, like, I've given you a good tutorial, I guess, and I hope you've learned something useful. So right now, for those who were thinking that, hey, just use the weather API from RapidAPI into your FlutterFlow app, I've shown you why it doesn't work. And right now, what we have done is you can replace RapidAPI with anything. You can use Google Cloud APIs, which is what we are going to be doing for the rest of, I believe, this API list of videos, because I love Google Cloud APIs. They are robust and they are reliable, more than RapidAPI stuff, right? So now we are using APIs from RapidAPI. You can do it for translation, for anything. By the way, we are going to be trying translation later, and you can connect all of your APIs. You can have more than, so as you can see in the example of translation, we will have 2 APIs. So maybe like the video will be linked in the description or by the end of this video, but I will make a video for translation where I make 2 APIs in just one flow. So again, we are connecting RapidAPI to Buildship, and from Buildship we are connecting to FlutterFlow. So we can have any flow we want, and if we want to change one thing, you don't need an update to update your app, because you can still have the same API. You can make changes here, ship them like this, and everything will just work fine. So I really hope you've liked this video and you have enjoyed it and you have learned something. If yes, maybe just give it a like so it can reach more people. And I will just ask you for one more thing again, as usual. Please do join our school community, and you can join us by using the link below. So we are just people talking about FlutterFlow and stuff like that. We are nothing more than that. So if you love FlutterFlow, if you want to build apps with FlutterFlow, if you want to learn more and engage with other people who are just same like you, please do join us using the link below, and we are going to be so happy if you can join us. So thank you so much for watching, and I will see you inside the community. Again, you join us using the link below.